guys, what's going on? Thank you for joining on another episode of the Jay Rana Show. Today, I have the pleasure and privilege of having not only my producer for the show, but also a client, and that's very important. Please help me welcome Mr. Ankur Garg. What's up, bro?
How's it going? It's going good, man.
It's going good?
Yeah.
So you just got married 2 weeks ago.
Married. Yeah.
4th of July weekend.
Got a ring and everything.
Oh, that's a dope ring. Let me see it.
So it's silicone.
Okay.
So it's only $8. So if I lose it at the gym or whatever, I don't care.
Okay.
And the one I got at the wedding, I wear like when we have events or we want to go out.
Oh, so you got the fancy ring for the fancy events, and you got your everyday ring for the everyday shows.
Yeah.
Everyday events and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and like when I go to the gym, like I don't have to take it off. You know how some people leave it in like their car or whatever? I don't want to do all that.
Okay.
So
is it comfortable?
It's great.
Nice. Let me see it.
It's just like your Apple Watch band.
Does the wifey also have a silicone ring?
No. She wears her real diamonds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's not going to stop wearing the diamonds.
Nice. Bro, you just got married. Congratulations,
yeah, man.
dude.
It was a wild experience.
I'm sure it was. I mean, as a client, you know, as a DJ, you're always behind the scenes working the events, but now as a client, as a groom himself, right? I'm sure there's some vantage points you saw that you weren't expecting, all the stress level that you weren't really expecting, but you had to put your big boy pants on and handle it the proper way.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think there's a couple moments where, like, you know, when you're on stage and you're sitting on the couch, you don't really ever sit on the couch, like not even for photos or whatever as a DJ. But like when you're actually sitting on the couch, I was just like, oh, wow. So this is what it looks like from up here. And I was just like looking around at all the tables and like everyone's there for us, right? They're not there for like some other random person that I'm not close with.
All eyes are on you guys the whole night. And I tell you guys, I told you the same thing. I tell my clients, make sure you're constantly smiling. Yeah. Because that's important because all eyes are on you.
I did a good job of that.
You had what, like 300 guests at your event?
Yeah.
All 300 people with their phones, with the auntie in the back with the zoom lens, their eyes are always going to be on you guys, right? Yeah. So, I mean, sure, it's hard work. You got to pretend. I feel like as a client, as a bride and a groom, right, you have to play that role. There's a lot of acting on that day because you're already stressed the out, right? You're worried about all the back end stuff that's going to be happening, how you look on the day of the event.
Jay, seriously, though. My cheeks took 2 days to recover.
I'm sure.
It was so sore from constantly smiling.
I'm sure.
At one point, I'm like, is this my real smile or my fake smile? I can't tell what's genuine, what's not genuine anymore.
And that's important to actually understand too, right? Like what's real and what's not. Because that comes across in the pictures.
Yeah.
You know, like being fake about it, being real about it. Is it something that you have to do? Is it something that you want to do? Can it capture my good side? Can it capture the joy that I'm having right now? Yeah. Or do I have to fake it?
But my good friend Jay Rana taught me that all my sides are good sides. So it's like nothing to miss out on.
All your sides are good sides, bro. I mean, it's a fact, right?
Yeah.
The hair, the salt and pepper. I mean,
I can't wait to see what Nora Weddings does with the photos and the videos.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be dope.
I'm excited to see the final product too and to see what they have to do, like how they did everything.
Yeah, as a creative, like I really appreciated their process.
Yeah.
Of like scheduling everything out. They had a shot list before they got to us. I don't know if you saw this, right? So they were just executing on the shot list. And it was nothing that communicated with me. They just had like a vision for what they were gonna do, and I'm like, oh, so this is how they make their like wedding videos. They pick the bride, they pick the location, they do their homework, and they know what they're gonna do. And like, this is awesome.
It's all about trust, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta trust the professionals that you're paying good money for.
Yeah.
Your photo, video, your caterer, your entertainment, your Mendy, everything across the board. You're paying them good money as professionals that you're paying them to deliver.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard also for bride and grooms and clients to just pay the money, sign the check, sign the contract, and just walk away. And hoping and praying everything goes along to your vision and the way you had your dream wedding, like the way you visioned it, and the way it's going to come across at the end of the day.
It's funny how that works, right? In reality, it's the guys I paid a lot that I didn't bother at all. And it's the guys that I haggled with and I paid very little that I was like super micromanaging the whole process.
Yeah.
And I think it's because the guys who I paid a lot were people who were like hyper professionals and have been in the industry for so long. I didn't care about micromanaging them whatsoever.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing because they're getting paid for their expertise.
Right.
They're getting paid for their professionalism. They're getting paid for the years of experience, knowing that, you know, you're in good hands with them and whatever can go wrong, it may go wrong. And some things have gone wrong, but they're on top of it.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about that, right? When you're shaking your
speaking
head.
of things going wrong, I didn't even think about how much went wrong while it was happening.
Yeah.
But like afterwards, I've been thinking about it now when I'm talking to people.
It boggles your mind.
Yeah, it was crazy how much stuff went down.
Yeah.
Like the bride got locked out of her own room the morning of the wedding. trying to get ready. So like while her makeup's happening, she can't go get her jewelry, she can't go get her clothes, nothing. And this is like 4 o'clock in the morning, right? When a bride has to get ready.
Yeah.
They had to call an engineer to come take the door off.
Off the hinges?
Off the hinges, just to let her in.
Jesus.
Like crazy, right? And then, I mean, I don't know if
that's
you know
just one thing, because I heard a lot of stories. I mean, we're going to go through them.
I mean, I don't even know how many, like, crisis scenarios went down that, like, my best man took care of without me even knowing about, that you took care of without me even knowing about.
Yeah.
I remember on Thursday, at one point, I was coming to find you, or like I saw the banquet manager not looking happy, right? Okay. The event manager.
Yeah, Jennifer.
And then like you just kind of came in, like grabbed her and went in a different direction. And all of a sudden I was like, okay, cool. Jay's got it. I don't got to worry about it at all.
Well, you have to, right? Like you got to take lead, you know, you have to take lead because everyone is running around with their heads cut off, right? Because they're nervous, I'm going to say. And it's always a matter of miscommunication somewhere, right? So when you go in and you see someone who's confused and don't know what to do, just take charge, take lead, and it has to come naturally. Because once you do that, they'll follow your lead. And that's in anything that you do in life, you know? As long as you're confident in your ability to make it happen, to make that change happen the way it's supposed to happen, everyone just will fall into place and follow you every single step of the way.
Nah, for sure.
I mean, this is the way it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
But did you have a good time at your wedding?
Oh, I had a blast.
Tell me about it. Tell me about your wedding, man. Like I was there, but I got one vantage point, right? Like I said, you're a client at this point. I want to talk to you as a client, not as a vendor, not as a professional, not as a creative, but as a groom. And I wish Sarania was here as well, because I wanted to get her information as well and see her reactions. That would have been clutch.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the amount of time that goes into planning a wedding.
Yeah.
And then there's a turning point where you decide to be present in the moment and you stop worrying about everything. And then you just start having fun.
When was that turning point for you? Because I know it wasn't in the beginning.
So on Wednesday night when we had the welcome drinks, I tried. I really, really tried. But there was so much stuff that was happening that I had to go take care of. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't able to enjoy the welcome drinks as much as I wanted to. It was great to get a bunch of photos with everyone and like welcome everyone and like everything that went with it. But I think Thursday when I got down for the haldi and Rishabh was already set up and there was like nothing for me to worry about in terms of like the music or anything like that. And the decor looked phenomenal. And I was like worried how the decor would look because we got it based on the original room that we were going to be in. Yeah. So it was like a small backdrop, nothing crazy. And then we got upgraded to like the ballroom. And like, I don't know how that happened, but like it happened. Saranya worked her magic.
Nice.
And so in the big ballroom, I'm like, I don't know if the backdrop's gonna be too small, but no, it looked fantastic. I was like, I was ecstatic. Right? So I walk in,
everything that you wanted.
And so the time comes to start the haldi ceremony, and she and I have to go up on stage and like go on those like big gold plates. Yeah. So I grabbed her hand, I got her into the plate, and like all I'm hearing is like click, click, click. Dave taking photos of everything happening. Yeah. I'm like, okay, let me be present in this moment. Let me have the big smiles and like let me do everything I'm supposed to do. And then I want to say like within 5 minutes, my face was covered in turmeric yogurt paste. And then I was just like, this is crazy.
This is happening.
I just paid all this money for this outfit. And it's totally getting destroyed, right? Yeah. Like, I don't know why I went boutique designer for my outfit for all the event, but I did. And so...
Well, you only get married once, right? So why not?
And so I look over to her and I see that she's covered in haldi. And I see that I'm covered in haldi. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to get into it. And so I think my cousin Jay came up at this point. And Jay was the one guy who wore jeans. And like, you can't wear jeans to a haldi event, like at a hotel, right? If it's in your backyard, that's one thing. But like, it was at a formal like venue and everything like that. Yeah. So like, oh, I'm going to get this guy. So as soon as he comes up to do the haldi ceremony. So like for the people at home that don't know what this is, right? It's where they take turmeric and yogurt and like a combination of like paste. And they rub it on your like forehead, your shoulders.
Do you know why they do that?
Your arms, your knees, your feet. It's like to cleanse your soul and to, help get you ready for whatever.
Someone say also to make you lighter,
right?
Because in our culture, I guess it's unfortunate to even go down this road, but the lighter you are, the more beautiful you are. Yeah, and that's absolutely horseshit, I think. Because I'm not light, you ain't light. There's a lot of women that are not light who are absolutely gorgeous and beautiful women. And it's unfortunate that this old school tradition is still here, but that's what it is. It's just tradition, and at this point, it's just going through the motions. Is it helpful? To some, yes. To some, no. But is it something that has to be done? Absolutely. It's like the Garba, right? So when you're dancing in circles, Is it for the festivities or is it because of religious purposes, right?
Right.
To different families, it may mean different things, right? Even for the wedding ceremony, you're Hindu, you're Punjabi and she's South Indian.
She's Hindu.
Hindu, right?
We're both Hindu.
No, but the ceremonies were different, right? So there were some portions of your ceremonies that your family expected, or we're going to talk about this, some portions of the ceremonies that your family expected, and some portions of the ceremony that her family expected as well, because she was Tamil, right? She's Tamil, in Punjabi. So there's different wedding rituals for different parts of the ceremony that has to be done in its entirety to actually say that you guys are officially married, right? I've done a lot of mixed events, South Asian, non-South Asian, back and forth. And they take both aspects of the cultures, the backgrounds, the family values, and all the rituals that each family has, and they combine it. In your case, it wasn't that though. It was purely one side, right? Now to put you on the spot, Saranya, what's up, sweetheart? Just to put you on the spot, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, if I'm being honest, I don't think it was one-sided. I think that might be the perspective of some people. But when you actually look at the minutiae of the details, I think it was more of like a 60-40 split.
Okay.
When I sat down with the priest, we walked through everything that needs to happen in the ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, the controversial part about this is that like my family doesn't have a family priest.
Okay.
And so the priest that her family has been a multi-generational like family of priests that have like helped their family with different
it was very eloquent
events and so on and so
forth.
It was
very detailed.
And he's highly like knowledgeable and like awesome to talk to. Yeah. And like, you know, at first it's like, there's going to be this random priest I don't know. And it's like a different culture. Like, I don't know if this guy is going to be like weird or anything like that. No, like you like immediately instinctively respect this guy when you start talking to him. Because he's just so profoundly intelligent. Yeah, absolutely.
He did. When I spoke to him too, he was very calm, very collected, and he didn't come off as a showman, you know, because there's a lot of priests now who come off as a showman. Like, this is a show. I'm going to put on the show. I'm going to jump on the mic. I'm going to sing on the mic, and I'm going to just talk. And that's the norm. You know, some of you guys probably agree with me. Some of you don't, and it's all good, right? But from my experience, that's what I've seen as far as the last 5 years. With this particular priest, with your priest, it was just the opposite. When I spoke to him, he was very quiet. You know, we gave him the mic. I mic'd him up. We went over his blueprint, how he's going to do things. He had his own harmonium, which is fantastic because he was chanting along with it. As soon as that turned on, I knew he was for real. He was serious. Like, because when he was chanting, it's the chants you hear in like the temples. It wasn't just something in the backyard or he wants to hear his own voice. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
When he spoke, you listened.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of silence because he, like, you wanted to give him that respect. Like, you wanted to listen to what he has to say next. And it was phenomenal. I was behind the booth. I was just staring at you guys, just listening to what he's going to do next and say next because he captured my attention right from the rip.
Yeah.
And that's very important. I mean, I feel like that's part of every vendor's job, right? And I want to say vendor, but use it as a broad term because he's a priest. He's not really a vendor. I can't really categorize him as a vendor because, you know, when I say a vendor, it's like you're getting paid, right? You're getting paid for a professional job.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Some priests are vendors.
Some priests are vendors.
Not this one.
Those are the ones that, those are the ones that sing. And they're
Right.
constantly singing and they're constantly on the mic. And you need to bring the mic down to make sure that the background song is playing properly. And then he gets upset because he can't hear his own voice.
Right.
You know, and he's a vendor. He or she is a vendor, I want to say. But your priest, just the opposite, man. I was really in awe with the amount of knowledge he had to spit and the amount of respect he had for you guys and the whole sanctity of the wedding itself.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That was palpable.
So the beautiful part about it is when we sat down and we went over the whole procedure, right? The whole ceremony, the rituals, the rites, everything.
Yeah.
Literally 90% of it's the same for both my culture of like the North Indian side and then her culture of the South Indian side.
Yeah.
It's 10% that's different. Some of the obvious differences, we each have a necklace.
Mm-hmm.
Her necklace is a certain type of like design,
Okay.
like the South Indian style versus the North Indian style.
Okay.
North Indian style is like the black beads, and it's called the Mangalsutra.
Yeah.
And in the Tamil culture, it's called a thali.
Okay.
And so that's like a pretty visual, obvious difference. Another difference is that for the South Indian culture, that thali has to be tied on at a certain point, and for us, it's at a different point.
Yeah.
And so when we have to make a decision of at which point, me and Saranya came to a conclusion like, hey, we're gonna do it at this point because this is the one that makes sense for the process and the procedure and everything, right?
Okay.
But like things that are more cultural, that are not like ritual based, like outfit selections and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure you noticed that Saranya had an outfit change.
Yeah.
In the
she
middle.
came in twice.
So that's more common in the South Indian culture, right? And because the first time she comes, we start everything, and then we're gifting her the wedding sari and everything that she's going to be wearing. And then she goes, changes into the wedding sari, comes back, gets married. So she wore a Punjabi style outfit when she came out. It was a red lenga, the way that
that's right.
that every Indian boy dreams of seeing his fiance come down the island.
Were you getting all teary eyed?
I mean, it was definitely one of those first look moments because I didn't know what that outfit looked like. She hid it from me the entire process. It was in my suitcase.
She was a beautiful bride. She knew
exactly
what she was doing. I mean, she was the epitome of the perfect Indian bride.
Absolutely.
I would say that much.
And so that outfit was North Indian style.
Yeah.
But that's more of a cultural requirement. Yeah. It's not a religious requirement. And then there's a bunch of other cultural things that we did that are more cultural based that are not religious based. But overall, I'd say maybe there's 5% of what the North Indian style requires that we didn't do, and vice versa. There's 0% of the South Indian style that we didn't do.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, someone was going to have to compromise somewhere, and so we made it work.
How much compromising did you have to do?
There's like 5% of our stuff that we didn't have to do.
Okay.
And so, I mean, in my opinion, 5% of compromise isn't that big of a deal.
It's not a big deal at all,
right?
Happy wife, happy life, right?
Yeah. And so, I mean, I was very easy about compromising and all of it. And the reality was the compromises were mostly cost-based decisions.
Okay.
Right? Let's say that the priest was like, cool, we can do the entire ceremony both ways. And like we can do 100% of everything from his side, from her side. The ceremony goes from being an hour and a half to being 3 hours to do every single ritual that's required.
Yeah.
But then now I got to pay
at that point.
But now I got to pay Jim over at the mansion an extra X number of dollars for an extra hour and a half. I'm like, I don't think I want to pay for that extra time. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
I think the money aspect of it can help out a lot of indecisiveness, a lot of conflicts between families. Like, for example, I have a client for next year, right? They have a pretty substantial budget, I want to say. And we booked them the Hilton in Penn's Landing, PA. Beautiful venue. And it was slightly above their budget, right? They weren't happy about it. The parents weren't happy about it. They loved the space, but it was above what they wanted, above the comfort zone, I want to say, right? And the parents came in, they're like, no, absolutely not. It's way too much above the budget. We have all these other things to deal with and to think about. So I did my due diligence, right? I gave them a bunch of like data points of all the competing banquet halls in the area from different states that's going to accommodate their timeline, their guest count, and their vision at the end of the day, right? So we give them a lot of points, a lot of examples on the different cost analysis. And at the end of the day, I did my magic. I got Neil from the Hilton to give us a great price that would boggle your mind. And I presented all this to my clients, and the money talks. At the end of the day, money talks, right? Look, we're saving so much. We're going to get exactly what we want. Granted, we're not going to have everything 100%, but we're going to get some things that we didn't know we were going to get, we got. And some things which we were okay with letting go, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? So it works. Like if you have a conflict in your decisions on the venues, on the clothes, on the food, the caterer, the DJ, every little thing, you got to check out the pricing. You know, money definitely is a decision maker.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the only place where, in my opinion, you shouldn't cut the cost in any way, and you should
is the entertainment.
No, isn't the food.
Is in the entertainment.
No, the food.
Is it entertainment?
I mean, the DJs, the MCs, they can handle it on their own, right?
Yeah.
There's no scenario where I can't find a DJ that can't spin South Indian music, North Indian music, American music, all of it. Almost anyone can make that work.
Well, I feel like every DJ plays the same 75 songs, but how they play those 75 songs, it's a storyline, right?
Of course.
You got to create a storyline, right?
Yeah.
And that's huge. That comes with talking to your DJ, curating a playlist, talking about your story, your love life, your love story, and how it started, the first song that you guys heard when you guys were together, right? That plays a big role in how you feel about each other, and also the playlist that we're going to create at the end of the day. Now, Rich did a fantastic job. He blew my mind right off the back. You know, pleasantly surprised, I want to say, because he understood exactly what you guys were into. He understood your storyline. He understood your love story, and he customized the playlist towards that, right? And that's part of a lot of things. Like even your photographer, right? They're going to create a storyline based on you guys. Taking pictures is fine. It's an art form, but how to capture your best moments, the way you guys look at each other, that's huge, right? Even with myself as your MC, I spoke to you. I spoke to Sarania, talked to you guys. I spoke to you guys on how you guys met, right? Your first reactions with each other. I didn't tell you this, but I also spoke to your best man. I also spoke to your bridal party. I also spoke to your parents, right? Talk to me about them, like their love story, like how they feel about each other. What do you feel about their love? And that goes a big part into how I do my job, right? It's not just a blueprint. We're not just going through A to Z. There's a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of moving backwards, going forwards, and controlling ourselves. And again, creating a storyline that's going to best fit you guys and you as my client at this point. And it worked out very well.
I mean, it's why you're one of the best.
I appreciate that.
Right? I mean, the fact that you do that.
I did not pay you to say that.
I mean, this.
Why you gotta cough at the wrong time?
This is not an ad. No, man. I mean, listen. Like, all jokes aside, I'm a really, really good MC.
Yes, you are.
And I haven't done it in a long time, but like, I have some amazing memories of like couples that just like still send me Christmas cards because of how much they love the work that I did
awesome.
when I used to DJ and MC and everything.
That's because you made an impact in their lives.
But bro, as good as I was, you're on another level.
I appreciate
that.
Like,
I couldn't even fathom the difference between us.
And I'm not paying you to say this.
No, it's just like, it was mind-blowingly, like I was out of my league trying to compare myself to you. You're out of my league. You get my point, right? It was amazing. And the entire crowd has a certain expectation because if it's an Ankur Garg event, right? And Ankur Garg was this guy who's always on the mic, who's got his own podcast. And
AKG creative, and you got to make sure that everybody that you bring on is on top of their game.
So that certain things have to be at a certain level.
Expectations.
Right? The singers that we got, top class, right? Yeah. There wasn't a single complaint about any of the singers.
Avish killed it during the cocktail hour.
Killed it. I remember talking to people. They're like, "Yo, this playlist is awesome." I'm like, "What playlist?" And I point over to him singing.
Yeah.
And everyone was just like, "There's a live singer here. That's a real person singing this." And we're like, "Yeah, he's right over there. Go say hi." And then tons of compliments about the electric violinist. People love that whole concept. That was a great idea that you pitched us.
Jim is fantastic. He's from Sweet Harmony, and he's one of the best out there. I mean, the way he controls his music and he plays along with the South Asian music, and just it creates a different vibe, right? Yeah. I'm all about the flair, because everything's the same, right? You have your DJ, you have your lighting, you have your photographer. I mean, everything's always going to be the same. What can we do to step apart and to stand apart, right? Adding that additional flair. Dole players are fantastic. Double players are fantastic. Saxophone players are fantastic. But I feel like an electric violinist, it's elegant with a touch of rock and roll.
No, it was great.
You know what I'm saying? And I love rock and roll. I mean, that's all I do. And that whole concept was fire.
I mean, as the groom, I was standing behind a door waiting to come out. Yeah. Right. And so I got to see a good chunk of all of the stuff that was happening. I was like, this is so cool. Damn, it sucks that I'm like back here. I wish I could be out there watching it.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is my moment, right? I gotta hold it in and just wait. But I got to enjoy the cocktail hour, which was nice. I got to go around and see everyone. But
was that planned? Because I know that some clients don't like to be part of the cocktail hour. They want to be separate in a separate room, and they want the grand entrance. So that's the first time the guests see them in their clothing and all that good stuff. So, and some clients, they want to be involved. They want to be part of the cocktail hour. They want to enjoy the food. They want to mingle. They want the hugs and the kisses, and just, be more personal.
I think there was like 0% chance that Saranya was missing a cocktail hour.
Yeah.
Mostly because she wanted to get all the paneer that she could get her hands on. But also...
Bukhara killed it.
There's so many times... Oh, phenomenal food. Yeah. They killed it. And I wanted to talk about that earlier, but we can come back to that. But there are so many events that we went to where sometimes like we would talk to the bride and she would regret not coming out for that time to see everyone, because they don't get to like interact with everyone at the whole wedding. So like, not only did she want to come, she made sure there was an outfit change.
Nice, yeah.
Right? So she had her own outfit just for that one event. And then she was like, don't tell people that I have an outfit change. I want to surprise them when I come down for the grand entrance. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, no problem, babe. I got it. And
who'd you tell?
I mean, I was telling people like, oh, look at this. You know, isn't it great that she has her own outfit for cocktail hour?
Yeah.
And then she was like, stop telling people this. I'm like, okay, no problem. My bad. But
because you're proud of her, that's why.
I was just like, how is this girl doing like all of her shoots, all her portraits in the evening outfit?
She's a beautiful bride,
right? Changes back into a cocktail outfit, comes to cocktail outfit, goes back, changes again, and then does a grand entrance. Like, this is just so. There was 7 outfit changes for this girl.
7 outfit changes.
It's like she was hosting the Grammys. It was just like outfit change after outfit change after outfit change.
It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, man. Everything that you dreamed of happening has to happen.
Yeah,
and I know that money also plays a big role in it, right? But if you can leverage your network to the best of your ability, why not?
Yeah.
Saying?
I can tell you this. One of my biggest regrets from the wedding is that I should have hired a wedding planner.
Okay. From day one.
I didn't appreciate that when things go wrong on the weekend, that I shouldn't be the one fixing it. Someone else should be the one fixing it.
100%.
So
that's why wedding planners are very important.
I missed my entire evening.
You weren't present.
Photo shoot.
Every time I spoke to you, every time I came up to you, you were on your phone, putting out another fire.
Yeah. And that should have been handed off completely to a wedding planner.
100%.
Like, the bus is not showing up. I found out half an hour too late, right? And so then I had to go clean, be the guy putting out the fire. Ironically, and I probably shouldn't, use those phrases after what happened. We can talk about that too. But that's definitely a regret. I should have had someone else handle all of it.
And that's important. I tell all my clients, you guys are having this event, right? You guys are enjoying this event. It's going to be being planned out. There's a million moving pieces. That means a million possible things that can go wrong.
Yeah. You
don't want to be working your wedding. You want to be enjoying your wedding. Yeah. Go into your budget. Take out an additional 10 to 15K, pay a professional company to come in and run logistics. That's very important,
Absolutely.
And time after time, clients will tell me, Jay, we don't need it. No doubt. As the MC, as the DJ, as the entertainment portion of it, we hold up a lot of responsibilities, right? Like when I called you and you said to me, the buses are late. Okay, great. So what can I do here? So I went to the caterer and I told him, listen, push everything back. We're going to push back the cocktail hour, 15, 20 minutes. That's going to push back the dinner for a few minutes, blah, blah, blah. And that's going to affect everything. It's a whole domino effect, right? But you shouldn't have ever been in that situation to jump on the phone with the bus company and curse them off because they're late. Now you got 250 people waiting, right? That's going to kill their timeline. It's going to kill the venue's timeline, and eventually it's going to kill your mood because now you're not even having a good time. Now you're just like, fuck.
Yeah. I mean, after the war, everyone's a general, right? Everyone's like, I should have done this, we should have done that, so on and so forth.
Monday morning football players.
I don't know how, but somehow everything still ran on time.
Yeah.
And the only explanation I could think of is you.
I appreciate that.
And I mean, like, people were talking to me about, like, we knew it was an Ankur Garg event, but we didn't believe that it would be on time because all Indian weddings are late, right?
Yeah.
Like, no one had a sense that things were running late. Everyone was like, this is the most on-time wedding we've ever been to in our lives. And I was like, the only way that could make sense is your involvement on the day of, right?
I appreciate that. You have to, right? Like I told you earlier before, right? Yeah. Like when there's things that's going to go wrong, there's going to be a lot of a lot of people who don't know what's going on, who don't know what's going to happen. So someone has to be there to take charge. Like, just tell them, listen, we're going to push it back. It's not a question, can we? It's, listen, we are.
Yeah.
We are going to push this back. This is what's going to be happening. And that's it. And they'll walk away. They have no choice. They can curse you off all they want. Who gives a the show must go on. I always say the show must go on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad I was there in your corner, man. Big time.
Yeah, and to be honest, all the vendors kind of teamed together to support us, and that was awesome. I think the biggest blessing outside of the vendors being hand selected to be, the best of the best, and honestly, people who just care about the event being successful, right, was the bridal party. They all stepped up in amazing ways throughout that weekend.
They did.
And being who I am, one of my flaws is I had to take on everything myself.
Yeah.
Right. I don't need a wedding planner. I can do everything myself. Right. I don't have to do like I had people flying in from a certain part of my family, and I'm like, I'll go pick them from the airport. Shriner was like, I'm gonna kill you if
you can't
leave
do
the
everything.
hotel
You
to go
can't
do
pick
all
them up
this,
from the
right?
airport. You can't do everything yourself, bro, because you also didn't have time to enjoy your event.
Right. So, I mean, I got really lucky that someone knocked some sense into me, and I decided to delegate everything that I possibly could. The only thing I couldn't delegate was crisis solving, right? Because money had to be thrown at the problem to solve it, right? I had to hire a new bus company, get buses there on time, whatever I had to do. And that's not something I can hand to like my best man, right? Or even you in that situation, because
unless you give me your credit card.
Yeah, which you're not going to know which cards are maxed out and which ones aren't, right? And in that moment, I had to split that bus company in 3 different credit cards just to get the payment to clear.
Yeah.
And they totally took advantage of me in that situation. But
I'm sure
what choice did I have?
That's why I talk to my clients about putting up an escrow account. Like you want to put away at least like 10 to 15K in an escrow account. I'll have access to it. So when I plan your wedding, we'll go through the vendors. I'll take care of all the deposits. I'll take care of all the final payments out of that. You'll see all the payments coming and going, but I'm not going to be bothering you. Listen, we have a situation. I need to put some money towards it. I'll just go ahead and do it and give you an explanation later because you have trust in me, knowing that Jay's going to do the right thing.
I think actually having finally been on this side of everything, I think all wedding organizers, vendors, they pitch themselves the wrong way.
What do you mean? Crisis management is the way you did.
No. Honestly, it's just that like, as a potential client, hearing about your services and hearing about what you do, it's one thing, right? You have to bring a past client to your first meeting.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't understand at that point the value that people bring to the table and the fringe benefits of certain vendors, right? The fringe benefits of my caterer for the morning after breakfast, somehow pulling together portable burners because there was a total blackout at my hotel and the kitchen, all the food got wasted.
So I got a call from Vicky that morning.
Yeah.
Like, Jay, we have a situation. Like, what's going on? There was a fire at the hotel. There's no elevator. There's no
Not
power.
caused by anyone in my party. Just make sure that's out there. They arrested the people who started the fire.
Was it a dumpster fire?
Someone was smoking at like 5 o'clock in the morning outside the hotel. And then instead of putting it in where like a cigarette's supposed to be disposed of, they threw it in the trash.
And everything goes in the trash, all that grease,
all sorts of stuff, right? And it wasn't the trash like out there, like the public trash, which is like random stuff and whatever, right?
Okay.
But like it caught fire. That went in somehow, got into the ventilation systems and got into other things, so on and so forth, and then that caused an electrical fire, and the fire department had to evacuate everyone from the hotel. Everyone had to leave their rooms, and it was a nightmare.
When it rains, it pours, bro.
Yeah.
When it rains, it pours.
Saranya, of course, found an 8th outfit somehow. Comes outside. Everyone's like, "Did you plan another outfit for this?" But we handled as what we could in that situation, and we got lucky that the caterer and the different people helping us put that event together just found a way to do like a cold breakfast.
Yeah.
And found a place of natural light where we could set up the tables. And then somehow pulled out burners, like portable burners, so that we could do an omelet.
And that's what you're paying for at the end of the day, right? It's not the service; it's the troubleshooting.
Absolutely.
It's like insurance companies. You're not paying for the insurance. You're paying for the what if situation.
Yeah.
What if this happens? What can you do for us? As an event planner myself, yeah, we can plan your wedding A to Z, but you're paying me to put out the fires that are most likely gonna happen.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, the more experienced we are, the more experienced I am, we can understand and I can forecast what's going to happen from different vendors, different situations, the traffic, right? The weather, for example. You know what's going to happen before it happens because it happened before and you're learning from your experience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's key, right? They say that you're paying me an X amount for me to do this job, but this job is only going to take me 10 minutes. But it took me 10 years to learn to do this job that's going to take me 10 minutes. So you're not paying me for 10 minutes. You're paying me for the 10 years.
Of course. And
that's huge, And when I speak to my clients, I explain that to them. And to your point before, absolutely, man. When I talk to my clients, I give them my referrals. Like this is my reference. These are all my past clients. Talk to them first. We'll connect, but talk to them. And once you talk to them, I'll send over my pricing. My pricing is the third thing I do.
Yeah.
First, we'll talk. I'll introduce my service, go over my value to you, and all the things I can do, which is probably the same thing other people can do as well. Let's be frank, right? Number two, I send over my past clients. Talk to them. Talk to them personally because they're already done. They have nothing to do with my future or anything. They'll give you the honest opinion. And then after that, I'll send them my pricing. Because now, once you see my pricing at the end, everything will fall into place. If I send you my pricing, number one, you'll run out the door.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then if you talk to my clients, all you see is my pricing. But if you talk to my clients first, talk about all of the ups and downs, what I did to make the event that much better or put out these fires, literally put out fires in your case, right? Then we go with the pricing and it works all the time. And it's helpful that way as well, you know, because now you're putting the value on it. Same thing for entertainers, same thing for your caterer. Once you talk to your past clients, then they can connect the dots. Why is this one particular company charging me X, Y, and Z when the competing company is ABC? Okay, what's the value behind this? Let me talk to their past clients, and that's huge. I'm a big believer in client testimonials, all that good stuff. That's all personal stuff.
I guess when I used to do that as a DJ and event person, I don't remember anyone ever calling the clients.
No?
I think I remember once where they called the clients and, you know, the clients gave a rave review, but I'd already booked the deal. Like there was no scenario of them not coming to me.
Yeah.
I think it's just like, as many events as I've planned and as many events that I've done, I'm no longer an event coordinator at my own wedding. I'm the groom, right? And that's something that you have to get through your own head.
That's a different role you got to play.
Right. And that's a role that, I mean, I feel I did a really good job of keeping a cool head.
You did.
Across the board, right? And I was as present as I could be in every event. But that's a role that I didn't realize was my role until the event started. And I started delegating everything to everyone else. And like everyone just said yes. And I'm like, oh, okay.
No one's gonna say no.
I mean, like,
no one's gonna say no.
I'm like, yo,
plain and simple.
To my fraternity big brother Shahan, I'm like, yo, man, Sarana needs some bagels picked up at 5:00 in the morning. He's like, no problem. I'm like, for real? There was no one I could ask to do that kind of stuff when I was a vendor, right? When I needed help or anything like that. But it's not about people saying yes. It's more about there's a role that I needed to play, and that was to focus on macro level event enjoyment, right?
Yeah. Not
micromanaging every moving part, making sure things locked in. It didn't, you know, what didn't lock in and adjustments.
Because you're gonna get frustrated. You're gonna get frustrated because even though you're micromanaging and it's gonna work its way out, you're still putting in that energy. Yeah. And you're taking away energy from your own event, your own personal memories. You know, because now when you sit back and you're sitting back 5 years down the line and you're on the couch and you're with your wife and you're going to reminisce about the wedding, what's going to stand out? Is it going to be all the good things, the first dance, the first look, the mother-son dance, for example?
Yo, stop it. How was our first dance?
Fantastic.
Did it come out good?
It was epic.
Because obviously you were in it, right? So you can't see it.
It was epic. I love that song. Can't Take My Eyes Off of You.
Yeah.
I know that song, and it's one of my favorite songs. And when I heard it, I just had to stop. Because like we're in the background, we're constantly moving around, right? We're constantly moving around. But when I heard that song, I just stopped. I looked over, and I got lost in you guys for a few seconds. And the way you guys looked at each other, forget about it, man. Yeah. That's love.
It was cool. I feel like I forgot about the dry ice cloud, right? And then when it started, I'm like, oh, no one's gonna see my footwork. I don't even have to be perfect anymore, right? So I just like focused on her rather than like everything else. And I mean, we hit everything perfect. I think there's like one move we cut out at the end just because we were like too excited and we forgot about one move.
Yeah.
But the reaction that people came back to me with was like, we didn't realize it was choreographed, and then once we realized it was choreographed, everyone was just watching.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm so glad I spent the money I spent on the choreographer to teach us that dance. It was great.
That's important too. Like, again, you got to make it your own, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of clients who practice on their own, which is fine, right? I always give a few tips, like go to YouTube, figure out the troll and dip and the 4-step box step. That's it. Once you put those two things into motion, it's going to look like you guys been dancing together for years.
Honestly, a choreographer is not even that expensive.
It's not.
It was 100% worth the money that we spent on it. I think it helps that Saranya's Bharatanatyam trained. Yeah. I was on like dance teams all through high school and college. But,
you guys are ringers at that point then. I mean, you guys already had the experience.
We figured it out pretty quick what we needed to do.
You guys had rhythm, apparently.
Apparently. Yeah.
Apparently.
I didn't get off the dance floor the whole night. So.
Nah, it was a good time, man. Yeah, it was funny because you said, Jay, all she wants, your bride, is 90s hip hop and R&B and early 2000s hip hop and R&B. It wasn't played until the last half an hour, my dude.
Yeah, I know.
The first hour and a half was everything else, and that floor was packed.
Yeah, but you didn't
she was dancing.
But you don't hear every time she came to me, it was like, "Where's my music?"
Oh, she said that?
Oh yeah, every 5 minutes. And I was like, don't worry, everyone's having a good time. It's gonna be okay. And at one point, I walked up to Rish, and I was gonna say something, and then I was like, no, I'm not going to be that groom right now who's going to listen to the bride's requests or whatever. Everyone's having a good time. Let me just let Rishab do what he's doing.
No, but sometimes you have to. I mean, the bride is the bride, right?
Yeah.
You're the groom. And you got to follow your lead, right?
But you forget, I DJ'd with Rishab for years.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So I know he's about to transition from one type of music to another type of music. And I think when I walked up to him, he had just transitioned to reggae.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, he's going to get to the 90s like really, really soon because I know his like reggae set's like 5-6 songs.
Yeah.
And it was just perfect, like beyond perfect. And I know growing up, I always thought that like J Dobby would be the guy I hired, or Jazzy Jeff would be the one who I hired. I mean, as a DJ, those are the two guys I looked up to as a DJ, right? Unfortunately, they're a lot older now, and it just didn't make sense with like the type of music I wanted. So my old DJ partner was the only go-to, decision. But I know a lot of people question my choice. But I know he showed everyone what's up.
He showed everybody up.
Yeah, he showed everyone what's up. And he killed it.
He killed it. I told you myself, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Rich is the man. I mean, I took him with me down to Orlando. We butted heads a lot. Only reason because he's his own person, which is fantastic. He knows what he's doing, and I know what I'm doing. So when you have two alphas in the room, it's gonna be difficult, right?
Yeah.
But when I had the pleasure and privilege of working with him on your event, it was flawless.
Yeah.
It was flawless. He knew exactly what he was doing. I knew exactly what my role was. He knew what his role was, and we just kept it going. That's the way it's supposed to be. Like the chemistry between your MC and your DJ, it's huge. Because between two people, you got to hold 300 people down. Yeah,
no, and you guys were a good match for that crowd, so it was great.
It was a good time, man. It was a good time. Everybody had a good time. I know your mom was a little bit. I had to talk to your mom a few times.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
I had to talk to your mom. Auntie, it's okay. Smile. I mean, he's your only son. It's okay. I know he's getting married, but you're not losing a son. You're gaining a daughter. All these other things, and there was more to the story, which we'll talk about afterwards.
How was the mother-son dance?
Emotional as F.
Yeah, I mean, I was in it, right? So I couldn't see what everyone else was doing, and
she started crying.
And so I just like hugged her, and I knew the song was going to be the right song choice with everything going on.
You did it on purpose.
Of course,
you did it on purpose.
Of course, I picked that song.
You did it on purpose.
I mean,
tugging on the heartstrings.
I'm a kid who grew up listening to Bollywood movies and music and everything, right? And I was used to be a DJ. I know the right songs to choose for everything.
Songs that tug on the heartstrings that make everybody emotional, and it worked. I think that song was the turning point in your mom's evening. I want to say.
I hope so.
I think it was, because before that it was a little bit hard for her. Absolutely, it was hard for her. It was a little bit difficult for your father as well. But once that song came on, I just saw the look on her face, and she felt ease as well. The tension was gone, and that was priceless. You can't put a price tag on that.
Yeah,
it was a good time. It was a fantastic time, man. Everything else with the wedding, the food, the decor was on fire. Jyoti did a great job. We had some issues with the lighting. My bad on that with the purple background, but it's the light, right? So it's white LEDs on the backdrop.
I just want to make sure we understand this is a podcast that's going to get published all across the internet.
It's all good.
And I told Saranya that we don't know who's at fault.
Okay. Well, no one's at fault, right? So what it is the lighting, right? So we have the white LEDs placed on a backdrop, right? so once you have that.
Without going into those details, the reality is it actually is my fault.
It's not your fault.
No, because
it's no one's fault per se.
I should have hired a wedding planner.
You should have hired a wedding planner.
An organizer, right? Because it was communicated what Saranya and I wanted.
Okay.
But with all the moving parts, when one of the vendors asked for uplighting, I just immediately was like, Jay, throw in some uplighting, right?
Yeah.
There was no joint conversation with both parties, right? The bride
and the color schemes on like the final output.
And it's I should have ponied up and gotten the wedding planner. Like that's a regret for sure. Okay. All the things that went wrong, half of them could have been solved by a good wedding planner, and the other half, I mean, you can't control a fire, and you can't control, whatever happened that caused the buses to not come, and so on and so forth.
I'm a big believer in that, man. As a planner myself, you have backup plans. We have backup plans. You have to have backup plans. When I plan events from the caterer, I have a backup for everything, a plan B.
Yeah.
You got to have a plan B for everything in life, right? Because you just don't know how it's going to.
So if the cake falls, you just like run the shop right and get
no, there's going to be a backup cake on site.
Okay.
Absolutely. And that's part of the package, right? Because you're going to pay a good amount. So we'll have a backup cake. It could be a Carvel cake, but there'll be a backup cake on site just in case, right?
Just run the Dunkin', get 3 Carvels, stack them up.
There you go. There you go. Why not?
That's funny.
Why not? It's a backup. It's a backup just in case things happen. As a DJ, speakers blow, right? What do? You have backups. You have a generator, right? As a caterer, if something's not working, what do? They're gonna have backups, right? Like you said, that Vicky came through with the burners. He had backups. He had backups on site because just in case something happens, that's when you pull.
It definitely wasn't on site. They figured out how to get it from wherever they did. But yeah, no. I mean, overall, hands down, best week of my life. Right? There's no question.
I know you were stressing for like weeks on end leading up to it. Yeah. We had conversations. We had intimate conversations on the stress level, on the do's and don'ts, on like what you're going through, and how that seeped into your family life as well.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest part for me was the financial obligation.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I got laid off in March from the company that I was working at, and then I jump-started the agency, started the podcast studio, and like things are getting rolling, and things are much better now, right, than where they were back then. But to plan a wedding on top of all of that, it's very hard.
Most people can't do that, man.
Yeah,
it's a lot of stress. There's a lot of obligations, right? There's a lot of things you can't take back, and expectations are huge because you got your friends and family who are looking at you. I mean, you're not an average Joe Schmo. You're AKG creative. You got to do things the proper way because you're a leader at this point, right? Other people are going to be following your lead. Oh, well, he did this. We're going to do it this way. I'm expecting him to do A, B, and C, right? And you delivered every single step of the way. That does cause extra wrinkles. That does cause a few more white hairs.
Most certainly does. I'm definitely grayer than I was before the wedding. There's like 0 scenarios where I'm not grayer. But
black and white all day. Black and white all day.
But somehow it all just worked out. It's just the universe got me a client at the right time.
It's God's plan, bro.
And like the families had conversations at specific times. Certain things got moved around timeline wise in the 6 months before the wedding. But maybe it was how it was supposed to be done.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe it all happened the way it was supposed to happen.
That's the thing. It happened the way it was supposed to happen. You can't plan it, right? I'm a big believer in God's plan. I'm a big believer that, listen, there's some things that are out of your hands. You have to take a step back and just embrace what's happening, good and the bad. Some bad things are happening, but now why is it happening? You're going to question it. Can you change it? Probably not. It's how you deal with it, right? And I always say God won't put anything on your plate that you can't handle. Those are facts.
I know, but they have to put everything on my plate.
But you handled it.
There's a limit of what Ankur can handle. Let's give him all of it. Let's see.
And you handled it, right? So now think about this: your wedding, all these things that went wrong, that could have went wrong, and you fixed it. Okay. So now moving forward in your personal life, in your family life, in your professional life, I don't think there's going to be a lot of trials and tribulations coming your way, bro. I think it's going to be easy peasy sailing at this point because you've handled all the hard stuff, all the nonsense, all the bullshit.
I hope that's the case, man.
It has to be the case.
I just know that
you got to be positive. I'm a big believer in finding the small speck of light in a room of darkness, right? And it's hard in the beginning, Like you're walking into a room of darkness and you see a small speck of light. It's hard to find it. But then you do it over and over again and you find it and it's hard work being positive, right? So now eventually, once you go into that room, all you're gonna see is that light, and that light isn't small anymore. It's a big ball, and everything else is a small sliver of darkness around you because you're not focused on it. But it's the same amount, it's the same ratio. Now you're just more focused on this one particular thing. And it's harder work. I try my best to practice that as much as I possibly can. I practice what I preach, right? And it's hard, but it's worth it, especially for inner peace.
For sure, man. I mean, for anyone that needs to plan a wedding, there's probably 3 pieces of advice I would give them. The first one, obviously, get the wedding planner, pony up. It's going to make everything that much better.
Yeah, you got to hire Rana Events for that. We'll take care of it.
I mean, I can't speak about Rana as an event coordinator, but as an MC, there's no other choice.
I appreciate that too.
Obviously, you did way more than just MC, behind the scenes and everything else.
You'll play a lot of roles. It's a bunch of hats we got to play. But, that's all part of it.
You gotta pony up for the event coordinator, 100%. 2, I feel like as a groom and as a bride at this day and age, you have to come to terms with what's going to be in everyone's bucket of responsibilities, right? There's things that the bride has to take care of with the bride side of the family, and there's things the groom has to take care of on the groom side of the family. And then everything that's in the middle bucket, like that you're going to be doing together, you have to approach it as a team. And whenever you forget that you're approaching it as a team, that's when things like fall apart. That's where all the stress comes from all the communication and everything else that goes down during that period of wedding planning. And then 3, I mean, I think it goes without saying that you gotta be present at the wedding in every way possible, because people are coming from all over the world to come be part of this event. And some of those conversations and some of the memories that people have, like, they're gonna be talking about for the rest of their life, like to the following generations.
100%.
I mean, my family and her family probably didn't have a reunion like that since COVID, right? So it's been 5-7 years since everyone has seen each other at that type of scale.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a long lost cousin I never even met before.
A long lost cousin.
I didn't even know this guy existed until a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And it's mostly because of like how in the Indian culture, like on the paternal grandfather side, like that's your family.
Okay.
On the paternal grandmother side, just kind of like, they left their town and like they stopped talking to their extended relatives, so on and so forth.
Okay.
But recently, in the past couple of years, I went and just started like seeking out my paternal grandmother side of the family, and I found all these cousins I didn't know existed. And like one of them came to the wedding after me outreaching and like welcoming them.
Where was the cousin from?
Local? Originally from Melbourne, Australia.
Okay.
Just relocated to Seattle, and it just was easy at that point. Nice. To come through for the wedding, brought his whole family, and I mean, they're just memories that people are gonna talk about forever. And I just there's photos as I'm going through them that I'm missing in because I'm on the phone. In the back.
I got a lot of pictures of you on the phone.
Yeah, I mean, I posted one of them. But yeah, no, I'm missing from some of these photos. And I mean, I think I was present.
How does that make you feel?
I think I was present at least 90% of the time that mattered. It's those 10% items that I'm just like, bro, I spent all this money. I should have gotten that last 10%.
Yeah.
Right? Like, how could I miss that last 10%? That's a mess up on my part. And, it is what it is. But
no, you can't say that though. It is what it is. I think when people say it is what it is, it's a cop out, right? Like, well, it is what it is.
I can't change anything now.
Yeah, you can't change anything, but you could always prepare other people.
Which is what I'm doing on the show with you, right?
Yeah.
To everyone who's listening, I want to make sure they all know.
100%.
It's being present is so important because you spend all that kind of money. You want to get every one of those memories and squeeze every drop of memory juice you can get out of that event.
Yeah, because it's not going to happen again.
Yeah. Now, one and done. I'm never getting married
One
again.
and done.
That's it.
There's a lot of people out there with their second marriages, and there's even people out there in their third marriages, and God bless them all, right? Hopefully they learn from their mistakes from the first for the second, and from the first and second for the third. Right. But to go back to your point, I completely agree, man. When you're on your side of the role, right, as a groom, number one, get the professionals to do their job. Hire a day of coordination company, hire a wedding planner because they're going to do their job. the best of their ability.
Don't guide these people wrong. The day of coordinator is not the move. Get the wedding planner from day one.
Yeah.
To go through every detail. Don't miss any communication. Because remember, I drew those 3 buckets, right? The groom's bucket, the bride's bucket. I don't know what the bride's bucket stuff is, but I couldn't solve the problems that went down on this end because I wasn't looped in.
Yeah.
So you got to have someone from day one responsible for everything, because no matter what, you as either the bride or either the groom are not going to know everything.
As a wedding planner myself, what I do is when I speak to my clients, I tell, I have a group meeting with the bride and groom and their parents.
Yeah.
Because everybody has a role to play. You know, I tell them right from the beginning, I tell them things that they don't want to hear. I'm not just going to sugarcoat things. I tell my clients exactly what they need to hear and to level set them. For the bride, this is your role, A to 10, like A to Z, 1 to 10. The groom, this is your role. These are your tasks. Parents of the groom, this is what you have to do. Parents of the bride, this is what you have to do. It has to be done. Okay? Now, if there's any conflicts or any issues, come talk to me. But this is your job, right? Why are you paying me? To get this job done as a whole, right? Because there's things I can't do for you guys that's going to be more family oriented, you know, all that good stuff. The jewelry, the clothing, the color schemes, something that's going to have to be personal for you guys.
You can't pick out the Mangasutta for families?
I can't do that. I can give you suggestions on where to go and help you negotiate a price for it, 100%. But that design is completely you, right? And the same thing with your clothing line. Yeah. The same thing with your color scheme. I can give you options on things that's going to work with the venue, the way the architecture is, the ceiling height, the color of the carpet, the color of the walls, what's going to look good, what's not going to look good, all these different things, aesthetics, right? But at the end of the day, everyone has a role to play. And as a wedding planner, it's my job to enforce those rules. You know, listen, you have a time and an expiration date. Okay, and this has to be done on D. This has to be done. You got 2 weeks. Okay, we're gonna reconvene in 2 weeks. You have a checklist: A, B, C, and D. This has to be done. Uncle, what's up? This has to be done. A, B, C, and D. We'll reconvene in 2 weeks. If it's not done, then I need to enforce it. And also, you got to follow up. You know, got to keep on following up. It's a full-time job. You know, regardless of what it is. But that's important, right? As a wedding planner, you enforce everything, and just let your clients know that it's not going to go perfectly, but you're going to try your best to make sure that they don't know about it, right? Because it's my job to put out all the fires in the background and make sure you guys are oblivious of it. I say ignorance is bliss, and so be it. You know, and that's important to understand. You know, and you said the other you also said that as far as your bridal party, right? Everybody has their tasks, and no one's going to say no to you. Right? Because you're the man of the day. You're the man of the hour. And you're blessed enough to have that, which is fantastic. So congratulations to you, man.
Thanks, man.
It's gonna it was a great time.
Dude, I had a ton of fun throughout the event. And I mean, you saw me. I was smiling the whole
dancing
time.
Your off all night long.
Yeah.
And you were sober.
Sober.
Because you don't drink anymore.
I don't drink anymore.
It's been a while now, right? How long has it been?
Actually, as of today, it's 90 days.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So as a groom, talk to me about that, because obviously all your groomsmen were doing shots. Bridesmaids were doing shots. I was at the bar, you know, with them. I couldn't drink with them because that's not professional at all. But I saw this, and you were there with your soda. You were there with your water. You were enjoying yourself, right? But being in the mindset of being sober, going in from this, you see everything at this point. Yeah. Now you don't have any tunnel vision at this point, right? You have no blinders on, so you see everything. I'm sure that's a different perspective.
For sure. I mean, honestly, with the amount of fires that I had to put out, I think being sober at your wedding makes
that was
so
very important, right? That was
and then
that was key at that point.
I think when it came down to drama. And my reactions to drama, I was in full control of any reactions that I could have, possibly had to anything that happened. For example, your bride at some point is going to be like, I hate something that happened, right? And a guy like me who's so hyper perfectionist on everything that I try and take control of, that could make you fall apart. We're like, I just spent all this money, I pulled all this off, and like you're complaining. Like, for example, if you're complaining about Rishabh taking 30 minutes to get to the 90s hip hop and R&B, but 99% of the room is all happy. I don't have tunnel vision on what my wife is saying, right? And I'm looking at what everyone's saying. Like, oh, I need to just like let Rishabh do his thing. On the same note, little things of like, you know, my cousins who are, you know, enjoying themselves. They don't always say the right things at the right times. Yeah. Right? Any one of them can set you off, right? Someone could try and compare your wedding to someone else's wedding. Someone could be like, "Why? I
hate that shit.
Why doesn't your wedding have this?" And I'm, you know, like, for example, like at the hotel, some people were shocked that I wasn't providing breakfast every single day.
Okay.
And I'm like, "You're all millionaires. I mean, your wedding gift didn't show me that you're millionaires, but you're all millionaires." And I mean, like, are you really complaining about $15 breakfast? Like, yeah. You're responsible for your family's food no matter what. Like, I give you the best New Jersey Indian catered food experience twice, right? And then a blackout breakfast, but twice.
Yeah.
Are you really complaining about something like breakfast?
It was going to be complaining about something, bro.
Something.
No, you can't satisfy everybody all the time.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. And if you try to do so, you're going to drive yourself crazy, because even if you get the best of the best, right? Unlimited funds, I want to say, and you provide everything, unlimited funds, right?
I don't know, man.
$1 million weddings.
Unlimited funds. I can do a lot.
$1 million weddings, but you're going to find someone that's going to complain about something. Oh, this caviar, it didn't taste the proper way. Go yourself. It taste. I'm serving you caviar.
Right. You're right. No, you're right. I had that epiphany, I want to say 3 weeks before the wedding when you and I were meeting about music.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was like, you know what? I probably can't make everyone happy, and I should stop trying, because I should just accept.
The moment you stop trying, that's when everything falls into place.
And things changed after that. I think I started coming to an understanding with my fiance at the time on like certain decisions that had to be made. I approached conversations with family members differently at that time. And I mean, I honestly stopped caring about making sure everyone was happy. And all I cared about was that I was present. And that's all that mattered to me.
It's all that matters all the time.
I mean, like I said, I think I did a really good job of staying cool-headed.
You did.
I think being sober helped drastically make sure that happened.
You can't keep everybody happy. And that's not just with the wedding scene, you know, also like even with your family and friends, that's in life in general, right? You can't keep everybody happy. And if you try to, you're going to drive yourself crazy. So you got to keep yourself happy, number one, right? And people will take that off for you. Like they'll see your happiness and they'll see your energy, and and that energy is going to rub off on them, right? And also reverse. Like if you're depressed, if you're having a bad day, right? You don't want other people to be depressed, because energy is contagious. So you keep yourself locked away.
So you're welcome.
Thank you.
My energy definitely rubbed off on you, because that was the best performance I had ever seen.
I appreciate
any
that.
MC.
I appreciate that.
It was phenomenal, man.
Thank you, man.
I think from the moment the Barath started, I was ecstatic, because I mean, I'm so glad I didn't get the horse, right? So I started dancing for minute one, like second one, right? And I mean, it didn't seem like my family was getting into the dancing from my perspective. So like, I'm glad that I was there, so that like you didn't have to overwork of getting everyone to do the skits and stuff that you do. But I think it was like 30 seconds in, I'm doing like some bullet move, right? And I look over at you, and you look over at me, and you're like, yeah, you're good. Everyone's going to start dancing. Don't worry. And then Rishabh drops the second song, and it's like a banger, Bunga song, right? And everyone just erupts around me.
Yeah.
And then you start just hyping things up on the mic, and I was just like, yo, this is about to be a lot of fun. And then I hit like 60 seconds in, and I'm like, yo, I'm gassed. I don't know how I'm going to last 10 minutes of this. I was like, oh my God.
There's a strategy behind it, man. There's a strategy. There's a science behind everything that we do. There's a science behind everything that I do.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, because you can't dance for 2 hours straight, right? Unless you're an Olympian and you're a swimmer and you have that stamina, forget about it. It's not going to happen, right? So there's a science behind it. The way you dance, how long you dance, what you dance to, what song, right? You got to have your breaks in the middle. You're going to have your blackouts. You know what I'm saying? It's all part of the science. Yeah. It's all part of the science of entertainment, I want to say. You know, that's the next topic, the science of entertainment.
I mean, you could probably write a book on it, man.
That's a science. I mean, you got to think about the beats, the tempo, the pitch, the words, right? Because people sing along when they're dancing. They're dancing to a certain beat.
The famous Zac Efron DJ movie with Emma Ratajkowski, right?
Yeah.
Where he's explaining BPM and how it controls heartbeats.
Yeah.
And the dance floor and everything. And then they show like, you know, the animation of the heart beating to the music and everything.
The science behind the music.
Mean, all that science is real. And I remember as a DJ, I would know how to amp up a crowd and like bring down a crowd based on the song selection, based on when I would mix a song into the next song.
Yeah.
And I mean, all of that was just perfect at the wedding. It was great. I don't know how, but like Rishabh knew when to give me like a slower song so I could walk for a couple of minutes and get my breath back.
Well, we keep our eyes on you guys, right? I told Rishabh right from the rip, keep your eyes on the bride and groom. That's it. Don't worry about the crowd. Just keep your eyes on these two. If they're smiling, great, continue. If they're talking, if they're exhausted, figure it out. Because they're at the end of the day, they need to make sure that their choice was the right choice.
Yeah.
Their friends and family, they're going to dance and have a good time regardless. You know, but I always tell all my clients the same thing. Our eyes are always going to be on you guys at all times, from the morning ceremony to the reception, the cocktail hour, whatnot. Even though the cocktail hour, I came to you, I asked to surround you over and over again, are you guys okay? You guys want anything? Do you need anything at all?
Yo, I had like 7 seltzer waters around me at one point. I'm like, yo, everyone needs to relax. I'm good. No, man, everything was great. Everything. I had like 3 distinct Saranya memories that like will live rent free in my head forever.
What's that?
One I think is her dance.
Yeah.
Right. Their surprise dance.
Yeah. The surprise dance was fantastic.
Like the
very beautiful.
Like
very
the
elegant.
Bollywood moment where, you know, with like the arms and everything, or like her pause, like photo moment.
Yeah.
I was just like, yo, that's my wife. That's dope. Right. 2, we were at the Haldi, and, you know, Saranya being the planner knew not to like do herself doll up or anything. Right. So she comes down, and like one of my cousin's wives was just like, oh my God, your makeup looks so perfect. You're so beautiful, blah, you know, saying all the things you're supposed to say.
Yeah.
She looks me like dead in the eye. I was like, I'm not wearing any. And my cousin just looked at me. It was like, wow. I was like, I know. What do you want me to do? I wake up next to that. And yeah, if that's going to live rent free in my head forever, right? Like people just being like, yo, your makeup's
You're glowing
great.
right now, bro.
Yeah. She was like, I'm not wearing any. And then the third, I think, has to be, you know, when she walked in the red outfit.
Yeah.
Right, the Punjabi outfit. That was dope. And there's so many little details.
Yeah.
Like she had photos of her dad on her tassels. She had a photo of her grandmother on her tassels and like things like that. All of that was just amazing.
You know, I didn't want to talk about this, but she lost her father a while ago.
Yeah.
And he wasn't there for the father-daughter dance. And we had her cousin come in. And that was emotional. It was very emotional. What was even more is when I invited all of the other couples and family members to come on and share in the memory of her father.
Yeah.
Bro, it was such an emotional time. Even your mom and your dance, such an emotional time. I had to say top 5. And this is thousands of events in my logbook, right? Top 5 has to be, because I can say safely, I'm jaded. 100%, right? That could be a bad thing or a good thing, but I'm very professional when I'm working, right? But when I saw this, I felt it. That's why I had to stop and take it all in, you know, because you don't come across these moments. And that was fantastic, man. Good job to you guys. I'm sure there was a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of emotions, and you guys came through.
We made it.
Congratulations to you guys.
Man.
Thanks, man. Thank you for being at my show.
For sure.
Thank you for being the producer of the show.
Someone's got to make you look good.
That's you, bro. I appreciate that.
And your barber.
And my barber. We're going to have him come on in a couple of weeks.
I can't wait.
We're going to talk about that and the looks behind it and branding and all that good stuff. You know, because being in this wedding industry, branding is very important, right?
Of course.
The way you look, the way you dress, the way you talk, it's all part of your image, and your image is everything. You know, aside from your experience and, you know, performing 100% and providing those best services, but branding is very, very important because you're going to go that much further, I feel like.
I mean, to be honest, I've been in the industry for a long time, and then I stepped away. But certain names always popped up in my newsfeed on social media or anything that I was doing. You're one of them, right? And so when I knew I was going to start doing this, and and I knew I had like my own wedding and everything else. I was reaching out to everyone. When you responded back saying that you were down to like discuss and explore the opportunity of doing the show, I was very excited because you're one of the few people that gets it. You understand how important the power and the reach of the show is going to be. And I mean, I can tell you right now, like there's going to be at least 100 grooms that hear me say, I get a wedding planner. Like don't make that mistake of not getting one. And at least 5 of them will change their mind and pony up.
Yeah.
And
it's not even that expensive.
That's 5 weddings that you and I just saved, right? Like legitimately saved because of that.
You saved them. How we saved them.
Yeah.
We saved them from all the micromanaging, all the bullshit, all the headaches that's going to come with having a wedding.
No, for sure.
Because don't get me wrong, it's going to come with a headache. It's going to come with something. It's going to come with some type of rage. It's not going to be happy-go-lucky. It's not happening, especially when money is involved. Money coming out of your pockets and expectations from everybody else. Those two things don't mix at all. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have that in between. You got to have that wedding planner, someone to do all these things for you guys, all the logistics, all the design aspect of it, take care of your money and stretch it out, which is huge. That's one of the best things about wedding planners, I think. I offer this to my clients as well. I come with a network. Right? So I will take your $20K for a particular vendor and I'll stretch it as much as I possibly can to get the most because of my network, because you're going to be saving so much more money at the end of the day. And your peace of mind is priceless.
Yeah, your network is vast, man. I mean, we tapped into it multiple times for the wedding.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think I did a really good job of negotiating my own packages with everyone.
You did.
But I mean, at the end of the day, there's just certain things that you need to have a network for, and I've been out of the game for so long that it wouldn't have happened without you, man. So thank you.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Well, bro, that's our time. I love saying that. That's our time.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Absolutely, man. Till the next one, I'm gonna have you come back. I'm gonna talk about branding.
Oh, I thought you meant the next wedding. I was like, no more. We're done. We're done.
I got married once. Yeah. Might do it again. We'll see. But it won't be a third time. That's for damn sure.
Well, I mean, I'd offer to MC your wedding, but there's just no way I could match you. So
I appreciate that.
I will be there happily dancing if it goes down.
It's gonna go down, and you're more than welcome to come and participate.
Oh, no, there's no question. I'm showing up.
Yeah, but I would say you got to have a drink, but I'm not sure.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
I mean, Pellegrino's a drink, right?
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that's our time. Ankur, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it on another episode of the Rana Show. For all you guys out there, thank you for joining. Thank you for listening and talking about all this bullshit that we're talking about, because it's useful and it's important. As always, subscribe, follow, comment below. Anything that you want us to talk about, anything that you want to see, let me know. And as always, I'll see you on my dance floor. Peace.